This one says a 30-inch wide, 18-inch deep, and 12-inch tall aquarium does not have a top. That is important. All right. How many square feet of glass are needed to make the aquarium? And is it possible to construct the aquarium from one sheet of glass that is 3 foot by 4 foot? Some information about this aquarium. 30 inches wide, 18 inches deep. So that's the depth this way. You have to think that this is a three-dimensional aquarium here. So 18 inches deep and then 12 inches tall. Okay, 12 inches tall. It does not have a top, all right? So it's open at the top. How much glass? Well, we are going to have to consider the fact that we have this piece, right? This piece. We have the back and the side. So they basically want the lateral area of this, and then we only have one base to consider. One base to consider. We don't have a top, all right? And we're assuming that the base is also glass, all right? So if I'm going to find lateral area, the lateral area of this is going to be my perimeter. So what's the perimeter of this? How do I find the perimeter? Yeah, 30 times 2 plus 18 times 2, right? So my perimeter is this rectangle, or my base is this rectangle that is 30 by 18, which has another 30 and another 18. That's my base, right? So my perimeter is just to add those up, right? Which is what, 96? If I add up, well, no, 60 and 36. Yeah, 96. Okay. So 96 is my perimeter. So my perimeter times my height. What's the height of my aquarium? 12. All right. So my lateral area is going to be 96 times 12, which is 1,152 square inches. All right. And then I need to add in my base, right? What is my base? Well, my base is the area of this. That's 30 times 18, right? I have this area right here, 30 times 18, which gives me 540. And so I have 1,692 square inches. All right, 692 square inches. Now, if I want to do square feet, which is what they gave me my rectangle in, I can do that. Or I can convert my rectangle back to inches. It doesn't matter which way I do it. The glass sheet that they're talking about, so they have one piece of glass that is 3 by 4, right? So they've told me this one is 3 by 4. They gave it to me in feet. If I want to convert that to inches, what do I need to do? How many inches are in a foot? Yeah, so this is going to be how many inches for 3 feet? 36 by 4 feet is going to be 48. And then what's that square when I do that? 36 by 48. What is my area there? 1728. All right. Now, so it seems like it would fit, right? Well, we have this much square inches there, that many square inches there. It seems like it would fit. Are there any issues? Are there any issues, do you think? Are there any issues? Possibly. We have 30 by 18, right? 30 by 18, we have 2 of those. Does that make sense? 30 by 18. So if I'm going to say this is 30 by 18, this being the 18, this being the 30, right? I have 2 of those, or actually just 1 of those. I have an 18 by 12, 2 of those. And then I have a 30 by 12, 2 of those. If you lay it all out, it actually won't fit, by the way. Because I have 30 by 12, 30 by 12, and 30 by 18, and it actually is going to end up being too big for it. Even though you have enough square inches, it actually won't fit when you cut it all out. But this is basically what I wanted you to solve for. I'm not going to ask you this question. That's what I'm going to ask you right there. So just like our surface area of our aquarium was an open top aquarium. So when they asked for the surface area, they wanted the area of every single surface of the aquarium. That was all the glass that goes around, and that was the glass on the bottom, but not the top. So they're asking the same thing here for a pyramid. Now you'll notice the pyramid itself has a base. In this case, this base is a pentagon. All right. And the sides are no longer rectangles. What kind of sides does a pyramid have? We saw it yesterday. What kind of sides are they? What shape are those sides? Those are triangles, right? When you lay it out, it looks like this. We have several triangles here. And then we have some type of base. Whatever base it is. Pentagon, square. It can be a triangle, all right? But whatever base it is, you have a base, and then you have triangles that are created. And so when you're talking about the lateral area, you have to consider that you're no longer calculating the area of a rectangle. For a rectangle, you just did base times height. The base was the perimeter, and the height was the height of the prism. All right? Now we're talking about the base still being the perimeter. So we're still going to consider the perimeter here because this base is a perimeter. All right? But now I'm going to use a triangle formula. What is in a triangle formula that's not in a rectangle formula? What's the difference between a rectangle formula and a triangle formula? The 1/2, right? And so now I'm going to say the formula is going to be 1/2, and they have it right here. Perimeter times my height. But now we have two different definitions of height. All right? Two different definitions of height. Let's look at this right here. Let's look at just this piece right here. The height of my actual pyramid would be from the center point straight down, perpendicular. That's actually the height of the pyramid, right? But if I were to look at these guys right here, that's not the height of those. The height of those is what happens if I were to go down the side of it. Let's think about an actual pyramid, all right? Let's say we're in Egypt, we have an actual pyramid. If I were traveling up the side of the pyramid, it's going to be one distance. Then if they were to just drop a string right from the center down to the center of the pyramid on the inside. Does everybody see why those would be two different distances? All right? Because what have I created here? I've created this right triangle. And this side is the perpendicular distance to the middle. This side is on the ground to the middle. And this side is actually my hypotenuse. And we know that a hypotenuse is longer than the other sides, right? And so my slant height is what you're actually going to consider. It's a term called slant height, and it's the height of those triangles. It is the slant from the top of the pyramid down the side of it. It is called slant height. Slant height, okay? And it is denoted by this little L, all right? The height of the pyramid itself, H, is going to be the perpendicular distance from the center of the pyramid straight down the middle to the base of the pyramid, okay? The slant height goes from the vertex of the pyramid down the side, And so when you look at this formula, and it's on your formula sheet, so you need to fill this in. On your formula sheet for a pyramid, your lateral area is 1/2. So lateral area is 1/2. Your perimeter, that's still the perimeter of your base, times L. And if I were you, I would make sure that when I wrote this formula, 1/2 P times L, I would explain what that means. The P is the perimeter of the base. The L is the slant height. Slant height, okay? So make sure you know the difference between that and the height, because when we go to volume, we're going to use the height of the pyramid, meaning the perpendicular distance from the vertex down to the center of the base. Okay, and so you have to know the difference between the two, because when you start giving me everything, you need to know which ones to use. All right? That also means that you need all the formulas for any type of base you can have. All right? So the sheet that I gave you has your standard ones, but we also have another one for a regular polygon. All right? So look at example 1 on page 413. They gave me the slant height. They gave me one of the side lengths, so I can find lateral area. Lateral area is just going to be 1/2 my perimeter times my slant height, okay? If they gave me one of the sides, how do I find the perimeter? I count how many sides it has and I multiply, right? So how many sides does my base have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So my perimeter here is going to be 5 sides times one side length of 7 inches. Does everybody see that? That's my perimeter. Okay. So my perimeter is going to be 35 inches. Slant height. They gave me slant height. Right here, they gave me the slant height. When you see it coming down the side with a little perpendicular there, it means they gave me the slant height. And so they actually handed that to me. And my slant height here is 16 inches. And so for lateral area, I can just plug those in. Make sure you use perimeter. It will almost always give you one side length. Make sure you calculate the perimeter by multiplying by the number of sides. So lateral area is going to be 1/2 my perimeter times my slant height. 1/2 my perimeter times my slant height. All right. So what do I get when I do that? Yeah, so I just get basically 8 times 35, right? Which is 280 square inches. All right, square inches. All right, it's still perimeter times height, but now I have to take 1/2 into consideration. So just like on a prism, you did perimeter times height to find your lateral area. Now you have to say 1/2 perimeter times height to find your lateral area. All right. Now let's talk about surface area. Surface area means the area of all the surfaces. I just found the area of my sides, my triangles, right? Now I have to consider one more surface, the base. Everybody see that I have to consider the base, right? In a prism, you have 2 bases. You have a top and a bottom. In a pyramid, you have 1 base, all right? So what is the area of my base then? Well, that depends on what my base is. In this case, my base is a pentagon. What's the formula for the area of a regular pentagon? The area of a pentagon. It's a regular polygon. Apothem, 1/2. Apothem times perimeter. Do you remember that? Okay. So you have to go back in every type of base you could have. You can have a trapezoid, you can have a triangle, you can have a square, a rectangle, a regular polygon. You've got to remember your formulas for those. All right. So my base is 1/2 apothem times perimeter. 1/2. What's my apothem? They actually gave it to me. 4.8. Perimeter. I've already calculated my perimeter. What was my perimeter? 35. And so I can just do 1/2 apothem times perimeter for my base, which is what? When you calculate that, I think it's this. That's my one base. So my lateral area I calculated. My lateral area is 280 inches squared. My surface area is going to be my lateral area plus 1 base instead of plus 2 bases. So I'm going to take my 280 and I'm going to add my 84 inches. 364 is the surface area of all surfaces. So these will have 2 answers just like the other ones did. You will have a lateral area answer and you will add 1 base to your lateral area to get your surface area. Lateral area is your faces. Surface area is the area of all of your faces, all surfaces. All right, this one's a little bit different. They did give us our slant height, and we do have one side. So finding lateral area is not a problem at all. All right, lateral area is going to be easy. I'm going to say 1/2, and my perimeter, I know one side length is 12. How many sides do I have of my base? How many sides are there? 6. So I have 6 sides. 12 times 6 is my perimeter. One side times the number of sides. And my slant height they also gave me, which is 23. All right. So lateral area is not going to be a problem. 1/2 times 72 times 23. My lateral area is going to be 828. This is inches, so it's inches squared. So lateral area is very simple. All right. I need to calculate one base so that I can add it to it to get my surface area. Let's look at my base. I have a 6-sided, if I can draw it, I have a 6-sided regular polygon, okay? So that means all of my sides are the same length. They are all 12 inches, all right? I need my apothem. I don't have it. I need that length right there, all right? So I have to use what I know about polygons here, all right? If I have 6 triangles, divide by 360, that means this is going to be a 60-degree angle. 60, 60, 60, that means that all of these are going to be 12 inches. So if I pull this triangle out here, this is 12 inches because it's one of the side lengths. This guy is 12 inches. My radius of this guy is actually 12 inches as well because it's a 60 degree, so they're all the same side length. All right, I need to figure out what this is. So I'm going to try to figure that out using Pythagorean Theorem. I know that if it goes straight down, it cuts it in half. So now I have this perfect little right triangle with 1 6 and 1 12. Pythagorean Theorem tells me I can do that, or I can use special right triangles if y'all remember those. All right. So special right triangles tell me that it is 6, it is 12, and then this is going to be 6 squared to 3. If you don't remember special right triangles, you can use Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. All right. But I know it's going to be 6 squared to 3, so you have to do it one way or the other, either Pythagorean Theorem or you have to do it with special right triangles. If you don't remember special right triangles, use Pythagorean Theorem. Okay? So once I know my apothem, then I can figure out my base. My base is going to be 1/2 my apothem, which is 6 squared to 3, times my perimeter, which I already figured out up there was 72. All right, 72. And they did this in decimals. All right, they did this in decimals. And so when you round it with decimals, your base is going to be, if I calculate it here, so I don't have to do it in my head. 1 is my base. And then I want to find my surface area. Surface area is your lateral area plus one of your bases. All right, so I'm going to say lateral area plus one of my bases is going to give me a surface area of 1,202.1 square inches. All right, so you'll notice they have these pyramids here. This has 6 sides. This has, 10 sides or so. It just keeps getting bigger. And you'll notice that a pyramid and a cone look very much alike. The only difference is the base itself. All right, and they give us all these formulas. But the truth is, just like with a a cylinder versus a prism, we're going to do the same thing for lateral area. Lateral area was 1/2 my perimeter times my slant height. All right, but for a circle, what is perimeter? Circumference. And so for a circle, this is always going to be 2 pi r. Always. All right. Slant height still means the same thing. It is still the distance going down the side of the cone. So it is still the distance going down the side of the cone. Surface area is identical. Surface area is still lateral area plus 1 base. But for a circle, how do you find the area of a circle? It's pi r squared, so it's always going to be pi r squared if it's a cone. So if it's a cone, you're always going to use pi r squared for the area of the base. If it's a cone, you're always going to use 2 pi r for the circumference or the perimeter of it. All right, so let's look at the example on example 3 here. Find the height of the circular cone if the surface area is 144 pi centimeters squared. All right, so the surface area is going to be 1/2 2 pi r plus pi r squared. All right, 1/2 2 pi r times pi r squared. All right. What happens here with this 2 pi r times slant height? What happens here with this 1/2 and this 2 pi r? What happens with the 1/2 and the 2? Yeah, it just goes to 1. So what you'll find when you do the, by the way, the lateral area, you have 1/2 your circumference times your slant height. It always does that. All right, it always does that. So it always goes to pi RL, by the way. All right, so these cancel, and I have pi RL plus pi r squared. And that's going to be my surface area. And they actually gave me my surface area. My surface area is 144 pi equals pi RL plus pi r squared. All right, now I'm going to show you a little bit of factoring. This comes back from Algebra 1. What can I factor out of this right here? What's in common to both of those? The pi, and technically the r, but we just want to get rid of the pi for right now. So pi, and I have RL plus r squared equals 144 pi. And I'm just going to divide that pi out, by the way, because they didn't do it in terms, they did it in terms of pi, so I'm just going to do that. All right? So 144 equals RL plus r squared. Do I know what my radius is? What is my radius? It's 6, right? So I can plug that in. 144 equals 6L plus 6 squared. I know what 6 squared is, so I'm going to go ahead and write that. All right, how do I solve for my slant height? How do I solve for my slant height? It's basic algebra. Subtract my 36, right? What's 144 minus 36? And then how do I solve for L? Divide. What's 108 divided by 6? 18. Yeah. All right. So I solve for this, 18. All right. Now, what's the problem? What did they ask for? For the height. They asked for the height. Am I done? No, I'm not done. However, I have something very simple to do. This is just a right triangle. So on a cone, a right triangle is created by the height, the radius, and the slant height. Always. Okay? That is true for a pyramid too. The radius of your whatever it is, the slant height and the height is going to create it, as well as the apothem is going to create one too, by the way. The apothem, the height, and the slant height is going to create a right triangle, always. And so if you have two of those pieces and you need the third one, you can just use Pythagorean Theorem. I have two of these pieces. I know this is 6. I know this is 18. They want the height. I can solve for it. The height, a squared, plus the radius, b squared, equals the slant height, 18 squared. And so I'm just going to square those, subtract the 36 over, take the square root. You should get approximately 17 there, by the way, is the height of that particular cone. All right, and by the way, all of them are regular or right, so it means you're not going to have any oblique ones that are slanted. All right, let's look at a cylinder versus a cone. All right, the cylinder is perimeter times your height. That's your lateral area. For a regular prism, it is going to be the same thing, perimeter times your height. Your base is going to be 1/2 apothem times perimeter. And then same thing for a pyramid. You have 1/2 perimeter times your slant height. And then you have a base that's going to be 1/2 apothem times perimeter. All right. What it works out to is you have lateral area plus 2 bases or lateral area plus 1 base when you get to surface area. So that's the only difference between cylinder and cone as well as prism and pyramid. 1 base versus 2 bases. All right, I want you to try 2 of these. For this one, they give you really everything you need. You have the radius and the slant height. You have the side length and the slant height. All right, and this is a regular triangle, so you're going to have to calculate the height of this regular triangle using Pythagorean Theorem when you calculate that base. But I want the lateral area and the surface area for these 3 things. Lateral area and surface area for those 3 things.